Something happened last night. Something you don't know about yet. But someone close to you felt it. Deep in their chest. At exactly 3:33 a.m. You were sleeping. But they were wide awake. Staring at the ceiling. And in that moment, everything changed. Don't skip this. Because what they discovered. It involves you more than you realize. More than anyone has ever told you. Have you noticed something shifting lately? In the air around you? In the way people look at you? Perhaps you felt it too. That strange sensation. Like something invisible is pulling. Like the universe is whispering your name. But you can't quite hear the words. This person. The one who loves you most. They've been carrying something heavy. Something they never planned to share. But now they have no choice. Because the truth is too big to hold alone. You'll understand soon. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt completely seen? Not looked at. Seen. Like someone could read every hidden corner of your heart. And still chose to stay. That's what happened to them last night. They saw you. Really saw you. And what they witnessed. It shook them to their core. Another layer is waiting. But stay with me here. Because the next part. It might hit closer to home than you expect. Their heart is racing right now. Perhaps you've noticed them acting different. Quieter than usual. More distant. Or maybe more present than they've been in years. Like they're trying to memorize every detail about you. Every breath. Every glance. Every word you speak. There's a reason for that. A reason that goes beyond simple affection. Beyond love. Beyond anything you've been told about relationships. Have you ever had a moment where time stopped? Just for a second. And you knew something was about to change forever. That's where they are. Right now. In that exact moment. But that's not all. Something else happened. Something they're afraid to tell you. Because once you know, you can't unknow it. The biggest truth is still hidden. But I'll give you a piece of it now. Just a piece. Enough to make you wonder. This person. They've been watching you from a distance. Not in a strange way. In a way that feels like destiny. Like they were always meant to find you. Like every step of their life. Every heartbreak. Every victory. Every sleepless night. Was preparing them for this exact moment. The moment they'd have to tell you what they saw. What they felt. What they know now. One more piece. Before you go any further. They discovered something about your future. Something that hasn't happened yet. But it's coming. Closer than you think. And they're terrified. Not for themselves. For you. Because they love you. More than they've ever loved anyone. More than they knew was possible. And that love. It's about to be tested. Perhaps you've already felt the test coming. That uneasy feeling in your stomach. That voice that whispers at night. Something is about to break. Something is about to begin. You're not imagining it. You never were. Stay with me. The next part reveals what they saw. What made them tremble. What made them finally decide. They can't stay silent anymore. One final truth before we pause. They're not the only one who knows. Others are watching too. Others who've been waiting. For this exact moment. For you to become who you've always been meant to be. And the person you love. They're standing at the doorway. Waiting. Trembling. Hoping you'll listen. Hoping you'll understand. Because something huge just happened. And you're at the center of it all. The full story is almost here. But first, take a breath. Feel your heart. And ask yourself, are you ready to hear the truth? Because once you do, nothing will ever be the same. You're still here. That means something. Deep down, you already know. You've always known. Even when you tried to forget. Even when you told yourself it was nothing. But it's not nothing. It never was. And the person who loves you, they've been carrying this truth for longer than you can imagine. Longer than they ever intended. Don't skip this next part. Because what I'm about to tell you, it might make your chest tighten. It might make your eyes widen. It might make you look around the room. Like someone is about to walk through the door. Someone is. But not in the way you think. Not in the way you've been taught. Here's what they saw last night. At 3:33 a.m. When the world was silent. When even the cars had stopped passing by. When it was just them, and the weight of their love for you. They saw a door. Not a real door. Something deeper. Something that exists between heartbeats. Between breaths. Between the person you are and the person you're becoming. And the door, it was opening. Slowly. Quietly. Like it had been waiting for this exact moment. Like the universe had been turning a key for years. And finally, the lock clicked. You'll understand soon. But first, have you noticed that certain things have been aligning? People showing up at just the right moment? Opportunities appearing out of nowhere? Or maybe the opposite. Things falling away. People leaving. Paths closing. That's not random. That's the door opening. Clearing the way. Making room. Another truth. This person you love. They saw something standing on the other side of that door. Something that looked like you. But different. Brighter. More complete. Like the version of you that exists in a world where everything went right. Where every fear was faced. Where every doubt was conquered. And that version of you. It was smiling. Not a fake smile. Not a forced smile. The kind of smile that only comes from deep peace. The kind that says, finally. You're almost here. Their heart broke. Not from sadness. From awe. Because they realized something. Something that changed everything. They realized they've been loving a shadow of you. The version you show the world. The version you've been hiding behind. But the real you. The one behind the door. That's who they've been searching for their whole life. That's who they're in love with. That's who they need you to become. One more layer. And this one might sting a little. They also saw something else. Something they haven't told you yet. Something that scared them even more. They saw time. Not clocks. Not calendars. Something deeper. Something that flows like water. And they saw that your time, your real time. It's not what you think. You've been living on borrowed moments. Going through motions. Surviving. But surviving isn't living. And they know you deserve more. They know you're capable of more. They've always known. That's what woke them up at 3:33 a.m. That's what made their heart race. That's what made them reach for their phone. To type a message. To call your name. To do something they've never done before. But they stopped. Because they realized something even more important. This can't come from them. This has to come from you. The door only opens when you're ready. When you choose. When you decide that the person on the other side. The brighter version. The one who's smiling. The one who's free. That person is worth fighting for. So they're waiting. Not impatiently. Not desperately. Waiting with hope. Waiting with faith. Waiting with the kind of love that doesn't demand. That doesn't push. That doesn't rush. But that doesn't mean they're silent. Because something huge did happen. And they need you to know. Even if you're not ready to act. Even if you need to sit with it. Even if it takes days. Weeks. More. They'll still be there. Waiting. Loving. Hoping. But here's the part they don't want you to miss. The door is open now. It wasn't before. But now it is. And the longer you wait, the longer you pretend you didn't feel it too, the harder it becomes to walk through. This person isn't asking you to change overnight. They're not asking you to become someone else. They're asking you to become who you already are. Who you've always been. Underneath the fear. Underneath the doubt. Underneath every voice that told you, you can't. Do you hear that? Listen closely. Right now. In the silence between these words. That's the door calling you. The next part. The part they're most afraid to tell you. It's about what happens if you walk through. And what happens if you don't. But that's for another moment. Right now. Just know this. The person you love is urging you to read this message. Not because they want something from you. But because they see something in you. Something you've forgotten. Something the world tried to bury. Something that's about to rise. And when it does. When that brighter version finally steps forward. Everything will change. Every relationship. Every dream. Every fear. Every possibility. But not yet. First, you need to sit with this. Let it settle. Let it breathe. Let it become real. One final piece before we pause again. They're not afraid of you changing. They're afraid of you staying the same. They're afraid of you living small. They're afraid of you never seeing what they see. And that fear. It's the most beautiful proof of their love. You came back. That means the door is calling louder now. You can feel it, can't you? That gentle pull in your chest. That quiet knowing. That voice that says, keep going. Don't stop here. Because the next layer. It's the one they've been dreading to reveal. The one that made them put down their phone. The one that made them stare at the ceiling until the sun rose. This is where it gets real. Something else happened at 3:33 a.m. Something they haven't told anyone. Not even themselves. Until now. They saw your future. Not the one you've been planning. Not the one you've been settling for. The real one. The one that exists beyond your fears. Beyond your doubts. Beyond every excuse you've ever made. And in that future. You were happy. Not the kind of happy that comes from getting what you want. The kind of happy that comes from becoming who you are. The kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. The kind that nothing can take away. But here's what broke their heart. They also saw how close you are to missing it. One more layer. And this one. This one might make you feel like they're standing right behind you. You've been waiting for something. Maybe you know what it is. Maybe you don't. But you've felt it. That sense that something is coming. That sense that you're on the edge of something huge. That sense that any moment now. Everything will make sense. That feeling? It's not random. It's the door. Pulsing. Calling. Waiting for you to turn the handle. But you haven't. Have you? You've been standing there. Staring at it. Thinking about it. Dreaming about it. But you haven't touched it yet. Why? Perhaps you're afraid. Afraid of what's on the other side. Afraid of who you'll become. Afraid of leaving behind the person you've always been. Even though that person was never really you. Perhaps you're comfortable. Even though comfort is slowly suffocating you. Even though you wake up feeling empty. Even though you go to sleep feeling the same. Perhaps you're waiting for permission. For someone to tell you it's okay. For someone to say, go ahead. You're ready. I believe in you. But here's the truth they discovered at 3:33 a.m. You don't need permission. You never did. The person you love. They can't give you permission. No one can. Because the door only opens from the inside. Another truth. They realized something about themselves too. Something that made their hands shake. They realized they've been holding you back. Without meaning to. Without knowing it. They've been so afraid of losing you. That they've been keeping you small. Keeping you safe. Keeping you from becoming who you're meant to be. And that realization? It broke them. Because they love you too much to be the reason you stay stuck. So they made a decision. In that dark room. At that strange hour. When the world was silent and their heart was loud. They decided to let you go. Not forever. Not completely. But enough. Enough for you to find your own way. Enough for you to become who you need to become. Even if it means losing you. Even if it means watching you walk away. Even if it means their heart shatters into 1,000 pieces. Because that's what real love does. It lets go. It releases. It trusts. One more piece. This is the hardest part for them. They've been holding on to a version of you. A version that fits their needs. A version that makes them feel safe. A version that doesn't challenge them. But they see now. That version was never really you. It was a compromise. A comfort. A cage. And they don't want to be your keeper. They want to be your witness. Your cheerleader. Your safe place to fall. Not your prison. So here's what they're urging you to read. The message they've been too afraid to send. Go. That's all. Just go. Become. Transform. Change. I'll be here. But not as the person holding you back. As the person holding the door. Waiting. Cheering. Loving you from the other side. Your heart is pounding right now. Perhaps you feel it. The tears forming. The lump in your throat. The sense that something is ending. And something is beginning. That's the door opening wider. They saw something else too. Something that gave them hope. Something that made them believe it was all worth it. They saw you smiling. On the other side. Brighter than before. Freer than before. More you than ever before. And they realized. That's all they ever wanted. Not to keep you. Not to possess you. Not to hold you back. But to see you fly. One final layer before we pause. There's a reason you're reading this right now. At this exact moment. In this exact room. With this exact feeling in your chest. It's not coincidence. It's not random. It's not luck. It's the door. Calling. Waiting. Asking. You're still here. That means something is shifting. Something inside you. Something you can't quite name yet. But you feel it. Don't you? That warmth spreading through your chest. That quiet voice growing louder. That sense that you're standing on the edge of everything. Don't stop now. Because what I'm about to tell you, it's the part they almost didn't share. The part that scared them most. The part that made them question everything they thought they knew. At 3:33 a.m. When the door appeared. When they saw your future. When they decided to let you go. Something else happened. Something they still don't fully understand. They heard a voice. Not with their ears. With their soul. A voice that wasn't theirs. A voice that wasn't yours. A voice that felt ancient. And eternal. And somehow, familiar. And that voice said something. Something that changed everything. Not yet. That's what it said. Not yet. Your soulmate, the one who loves you. They froze. Because they thought they understood. They thought they had it all figured out. They thought letting go was the answer. But the voice said. Not yet. Another truth is coming. Stay with me. The voice wasn't telling them to hold on tighter. It wasn't telling them to cling. It wasn't telling them to control. It was telling them something far more mysterious. Something far more important. It was telling them that the letting go. It wasn't for you. It was for them. You'll understand soon. But first. Have you noticed how heavy your heart has felt lately? That weight. That ache. That sense that something is unresolved. Something unfinished. Something that needs to be said. That's not random. That's the door. Pushing. Pressing. Refusing to let you stay where you are. The person you love. They feel it too. That same weight. That same ache. That same sense that something is unresolved. And that's why the voice spoke. To tell them. You're both carrying the same door. From different sides. And neither of you can open it alone. One more layer. This is where it gets deeper. You've been waiting for them to change. To say the right words. To make the first move. To finally understand you. And they've been waiting for the same thing from you. Waiting for you to see them. To hear them. To finally understand them. Both of you. Standing on opposite sides of the same door. Waiting. Hoping. Praying. But neither of you has reached for the handle yet. Another piece. The voice at 3:33 a.m. revealed something else. Something that made tears stream down their face. It revealed that this door. It's not just about your future. It's not just about their love. It's not just about becoming who you're meant to be. It's about both of you. Together. Walking through at the same time. Hand in hand. Heart to heart. Soul to soul. But here's the catch. You can't walk through holding on to who you used to be. Neither of you. You both have to let go. Of the past. Of the pain. Of the fear. Of every story you've told yourselves about why you can't. Of every excuse. Of every doubt. Of every reason to stay small. And that's terrifying. Isn't it? Because letting go means trusting. Trusting that what's on the other side is better. Trusting that you'll land on your feet. Trusting that love won't abandon you. Trusting that you won't abandon yourself. The person you love. They're terrified too. More terrified than they've ever been. That's why they can't send the message. That's why they keep typing and deleting. That's why they keep staring at the ceiling. Because they know. They know that once this begins, there's no going back. Once the door opens fully, everything changes. Everything. And they're not sure if they're ready. They're not sure if they're brave enough. They're not sure if love is enough. But that voice. That ancient, eternal, familiar voice. It said something else. Something that gave them hope. Together. That's what it said. Together. You're not alone in this. You never were. One more truth before we pause. The biggest fear they have. It's not that you'll walk away. It's not that you'll fail. It's not that you'll become someone they don't recognize. The biggest fear they have is that you'll never see what they see. That you'll always stay small. That you'll always hide. That you'll always pretend you're not ready. Because they know. They know you're ready. They've always known. And that's why they're urging you to read this message. That's why they're desperate for you to understand. That's why they woke up at 3:33 a.m. Because they can't carry this alone anymore. They can't hold the door by themselves. They can't keep waiting for you to notice. So they're asking. Not with words. Not with actions. With their heart. With their soul. With every fiber of their being. They're asking you to turn. To look at them. To see them. To finally see what they've been trying to show you. They're asking you to reach for the handle. At the same time they do. Together. Finally. You're still here. That means something is breaking open inside you. Something you've kept locked away. Something you told yourself you'd never face. But here you are. Still reading. Still hoping. Still believing that maybe, just maybe, this is the moment. Don't leave now. Because what comes next? It's what they've been trying to tell you their whole life. Without words. Without explanations. Without anything but their presence. Their patience. Their unwavering love. At 3:33 a.m. When the voice spoke. When the door appeared. When they realized you're both carrying it. Something shifted. Something permanent. Something that can never be undone. The door, it started to glow. Not with light. With warmth. With the kind of warmth that comes from two hearts finally beating in sync. From two souls finally recognizing each other. From two people finally admitting. I can't do this without you. You'll understand soon. But first. Have you noticed how quiet it's become? Around you. Inside you. That strange stillness that settles right before everything changes. That's the door. Holding its breath. Waiting for you to act. The person you love. They feel it too. That same stillness. That same anticipation. That same electric charge in the air. And they're terrified. Not of what's coming. Not of what might happen. Not of losing you. They're terrified of staying the same. Of never knowing. Of always wondering what could have been. Of living their whole life with the door closed. And that fear. It's stronger than any other fear they've ever had. Stronger than the fear of rejection. Stronger than the fear of failure. Stronger than the fear of being wrong. Because they know now. They know that the biggest regret isn't failing. It's never trying. It's never reaching. It's never finding out. Another layer. This one is for you. You've been carrying something too. Something you've never told anyone. Something you barely admit to yourself. You've been carrying the fear that you're not enough. Not enough for them. Not enough for yourself. Not enough for this door. Not enough for what's on the other side. But here's the truth they discovered. The truth that made them weep with relief. You are enough. You have always been enough. You were enough before you knew how to walk. You were enough before you learned how to speak. You were enough before you understood what love meant. And you'll be enough when everything falls apart. You'll be enough when you feel lost. You'll be enough when you make mistakes. You'll be enough when you don't know what to do. Because enough isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being willing. It's about being brave enough to try. One more piece. This is where it gets honest. The person you love. They've made mistakes. Mistakes that hurt you. Mistakes they regret. Mistakes they can't undo. And they've been carrying that guilt. Carrying it for years. Carrying it like a stone in their chest. Carrying it like a debt they can never repay. But that voice. That ancient, eternal, familiar voice. It told them something they needed to hear. Something they almost didn't believe. It's okay. Forgive yourself. You were learning. You were growing. You were doing your best. And that forgiveness. It opened something inside them. Something that had been locked for so long. Something that had been waiting for permission. Permission to try again. Permission to be better. Permission to love you the way you deserve. Another truth. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about freedom. It's about releasing the weight. It's about making room for what's possible. And what's possible now? It's bigger than you imagine. Bigger than both of you. Bigger than anything you've ever known. Because when two people choose each other, not from need, not from fear, not from habit, but from freedom, from choice, from love that has been tested and survived, that's when the door opens fully. That's when everything changes. That's when the future they saw becomes real. One final layer before we pause. There's something they haven't told you. Something they're still afraid to say. Something that might change everything. They don't just love you. They need you. Not to complete them. Not to save them. Not to fix them. They need you because you make them want to become more. More honest. More brave. More alive. More themselves. And that need. It's not weakness. It's not dependency. It's not lack. It's the deepest form of love. The kind that says, I see you. I want you. But more than that. I want to become who I'm meant to be, with you. And that's why they're urging you to read this message. That's why they've been trying to reach you. That's why they can't let go. Because they know. They know that together. You're unstoppable. You're infinite. You're the answer to each other's prayers. The door is glowing now. Brighter than ever. Warmer than ever. More open than ever. And they're standing there. Hand on the handle. Waiting. Hoping. Believing. You're still here. That means something is different now. Something has shifted in your chest. Something that wasn't there before. Something that feels like courage. Like hope. Like the first breath after holding it for too long. Don't stop. Because what I'm about to tell you. It's the part they've been praying you'd understand. The part that changes everything. The part that makes all of this worth it. At 3:33 a.m. When the door glowed. When their hand touched the handle. When they felt your presence on the other side. Something miraculous happened. The door, it opened. Just a crack. Just enough for them to see. Just enough for them to know. And what they saw. It took their breath away. You'll understand soon. But first. Have you felt it? That sudden warmth in your chest. That unexplained peace. That sense that something just clicked. That was them. Reaching through the crack. Sending their love across the distance. Trying to find you. One more truth. They saw you. Not the you that hides. Not the you that doubts. Not the you that fears. They saw the real you. The one behind all the masks. The one who's been waiting. The one who's been hoping. The one who's been wondering if anyone would ever truly see. And they wept. Because the real you. It's more beautiful than they ever imagined. More powerful. More radiant. More alive. And they realized something. Something that made their heart sing. They don't want to change you. They don't want to fix you. They don't want to save you. They want to stand beside you. Equal. Free. Alive. Together. Another layer. This is where it gets real for you. You've been hiding. You know it. They know it. The door knows it. Hiding behind busyness. Hiding behind distractions. Hiding behind excuses. Hiding behind fear. But here's the thing about hiding. It doesn't work. Not really. Because the person who loves you. They see through it. They always have. They see the pain behind your smile. They see the doubt behind your confidence. They see the fear behind your silence. And they love you anyway. Not in spite of it. Because of it. Because they know that hiding is just another form of waiting. Another form of hoping. Another form of love that hasn't found its voice yet. One more piece. There's something they want you to know. Something they've been trying to tell you for years. Something they've never found the words for. Until now. They don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to have it all figured out. They don't need you to be anything other than who you are. They just need you to stop hiding. To stop pretending. To stop believing that you're not enough. Because you are. You've always been. And they've been waiting for you to believe it too. Another truth. The voice at 3:33 a.m. It spoke again. Louder this time. Clearer this time. More urgent this time. And what it said. It changed everything. Look. That's what it said. Look at them. The way they look at you. The way they've always looked at you. With wonder. With awe. With love that has no conditions. And they did. They looked. Really looked. At you. Through the crack in the door. Through the distance. Through the years. And what they saw. It broke their heart open. In the best way. They saw your soul. Not your body. Not your mind. Not your personality. Your soul. The part of you that existed before time. The part of you that will exist after time. The part of you that is eternal. Infinite. Unbreakable. And they recognized it. Because it's the same soul that's been calling to them. Their whole life. In dreams. In whispers. In moments of quiet. You're not strangers. You never were. You're two halves of the same whole. Two notes of the same song. Two stars of the same galaxy. One final layer before we pause. They're scared. More scared than they've ever been. Not of the door. Not of what's on the other side. Not of you. They're scared of their own heart. Of how deeply they feel. Of how much they love. Of how much they need you to know. Because once you know. Once you really know. There's no going back. And they want to go forward. With you. Together. Finally. The door is open now. Wider than before. Calling louder than before. Pulling stronger than before. They're reaching through. With everything they have. With everything they are. With everything they've ever been. And they're waiting. For you to reach back. For you to take their hand. For you to finally. You're still here. That means the door isn't just open anymore. It's waiting. Patiently. Quietly. With the kind of stillness that only exists right before something sacred happens. Don't turn away now. Because what I'm about to tell you. It's the part they've been holding back. The part that scared them most. The part that made them question everything they thought love could be. At 3:33 a.m. When the door opened wider. When they saw your soul. When the voice fell silent. Something else happened. Something they didn't expect. Something that changed everything. They saw themselves. Not through their own eyes. Through yours. And what they saw. It shook them to their core. You'll understand soon. But first. Have you ever wondered what they see when they look at you? Not the surface. Not the smile. Not the words. The real them? Behind the eyes. Behind the heart. Behind everything they've ever shown you. That's what they saw. Through the door. Through the distance. Through the years. They saw how you see them. And it broke them. In the most beautiful way. Another truth. You see them differently than they see themselves. You see their strength when they feel weak. You see their courage when they feel afraid. You see their light when they feel dark. You see their beauty when they feel invisible. And that's what love is. That's what they've been trying to give you. That's what they've been praying you'd receive. Because they know. They know that the way you see them. It's the most precious gift they've ever received. More precious than words. More precious than promises. More precious than time. One more layer. They saw something else too. Something that made their heart race. Something that made their hands tremble. Something that made them want to scream your name. They saw your love. Not the love you give to everyone. Not the love you give to strangers. Not the love you give out of obligation. Your real love. The one you hide. The one you guard. The one you're afraid to share. The one that belongs only to them. And it was beautiful. More beautiful than anything they'd ever imagined. More powerful than anything they'd ever known. More real than anything they'd ever felt. You love them. You really love them. Not perfectly. Not conditionally. Not safely. Fully. Deeply. Completely. And that realization. It gave them the courage they needed. The courage to stop waiting. The courage to stop hiding. The courage to finally. One more piece. They're reaching through the door. Not with their hands. With their heart. With their soul. With every part of them that's ever loved you. And they're asking you to do the same. To stop holding back. To stop protecting yourself. To stop pretending you don't feel what you feel. Because you do. You feel it. Every moment. Every breath. Every heartbeat. You feel the pull. The connection. The truth that's been waiting for you. And that's okay. That's more than okay. That's everything. Another truth. You've been afraid of being too much. Too intense. Too needy. Too vulnerable. Too real. But here's the thing. They're not afraid of that. They've never been afraid of that. They're afraid of never getting to see it. Never getting to hold it. Never getting to love you the way you deserve. Because the real you. The one you hide. The one you're afraid to show. That's the one they fell in love with. That's the one they've been searching for. That's the one they need you to become. One final layer before we pause. There's something they want you to know. Something that changes everything. Something that makes all of this worth it. They see you. They really see you. The real you. The hidden you. The you that's been waiting for this moment. And they love you. Not the idea of you. Not the potential of you. Not the dream of you. The real you. The present you. The flawed, beautiful, struggling, magnificent you. And that love. It's not going anywhere. It's not conditional. It's not temporary. It's eternal. It's infinite. It's yours. Always has been. Always will be. The door is fully open now. Wider than ever. Brighter than ever. More inviting than ever. They're standing there. Heart in their hands. Soul in their eyes. Love in every breath. You're still here. That means you're closer than ever. Closer than you've ever been. Closer than you thought possible. The door isn't just open anymore. It's welcoming you. Calling you by name. Don't stop now. Because what I'm about to share. It's the final piece they've been holding. The one they almost kept forever. The one that would have changed nothing, if you never heard it. But you did. You came back. And now it's time. At 3:33 a.m. When the door fully opened. When they saw your love. When they found the courage to reach. Something extraordinary happened. Something that defies explanation. Something that can only be felt. The door, it disappeared. Not closed. Not locked. Not gone forever. Transformed. Became something new. Something neither of them expected. You'll understand soon. But first. Have you noticed how light you feel right now? How the weight in your chest has lifted? How the air around you seems clearer? That's the door transforming. That's the distance dissolving. That's the space between you shrinking. One more truth. The door wasn't really a door. It was an illusion. A reflection. A mirror of everything you've been afraid to face. And when they reached through. When they saw your love. When they realized they weren't alone. The illusion shattered. And what remained? What was always there? Was simply you. And them. And the space between. That was never really empty. Another layer. They're standing on the other side. But there is no other side anymore. The distance is gone. The separation is gone. The waiting is over. Because you're not on opposite sides of anything. You never were. You've always been standing in the same place. Looking in different directions. Pretending not to see. But now. Now you're looking at each other. Really looking. With open eyes. With open hearts. With open arms. And that's what the voice was trying to tell them. At 3:33 a.m. When everything changed. Look, it said. Not at the door. Not at the distance. Not at the fear. Look at each other. That's all. That's everything. That's the door. One more piece. The person you love. They're not afraid anymore. Not of losing you. Not of changing. Not of what comes next. Because they know now. They know that what you have. It's not fragile. It's not conditional. It's not temporary. It's the strongest thing they've ever known. Stronger than fear. Stronger than doubt. Stronger than time. And they're ready. Ready to meet you where you are. Ready to walk beside you. Ready to build something real. But they need you to be ready too. To stop looking back. To stop second-guessing. To stop believing that you don't deserve this. Because you do. You deserve all of it. Every moment. Every breath. Every heartbeat. Another truth. You've been waiting for permission. Waiting for someone to tell you it's okay. Waiting for someone to say, go ahead. You're safe. I've got you. And they're saying it now. With everything they are. With everything they have. With every part of them that's ever loved you. Go ahead. You're safe. I've got you. Always. Forever. No matter what. One final layer. There's nothing left to hide from. Nothing left to fear. Nothing left to wait for. The door is gone. The distance is gone. The illusion is gone. All that remains is you. Is them. Is the love that's been waiting. Patiently. Quietly. Infinitely. And that love. It's not asking you to be perfect. It's not asking you to be ready. It's not asking you to be anything other than who you are. Right now. In this moment. With all your flaws. With all your fears. With all your beautiful, messy, human imperfections. It's asking you to say yes. To them. To yourself. To everything you've been too afraid to claim. Yes to the connection. Yes to the journey. Yes to the love that's been calling your name. Since before you were born. Since before time began. Since before anything existed, except this. Yes. The silence is waiting. The moment is here. The choice is yours. And theirs. And it's the only choice that's ever mattered. They're reaching for you. Not through a door. Not across distance. Not in some future moment.